Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at the live slider, which is something that's a pretty good useful way of getting information from somebody using your Max patch. So to find the slider, if you type live into the search and press return, that will bring you to the live section, and we've got our live slider here. So we'll drag that across and sort of place that on there, and as before, if we click lock, we can select this with our mouse and we can move this up and down, and what will happen is when I change the position, so I click on this arrow with the mouse and move it up and down, and when you change the position it will output this number that's at the bottom. So at the moment, if I press it at the bottom, it'll output a 0, and if it's at the top, it'll output 127, and then all the ones between. So if we're using this to change the frequency of a cycle, we need to actually change the numbers that it's actually outputting. So if we unlock and then click on the slider and then select the inspector, there are several things that we can sort of do to change that. So the first one is the range. So if we look at parameter, stroke enum and the range. So again, we can do this to any numbers, but say I wanted this to go between 20 and 20,000, the audio range, you just type those two numbers in there and then press return. So now if I lock this patch and then I move the fader, we'll see now that it actually outputs a number between 20 and 20,000. So I can change the range that this is actually outputting at. So to edit this further, we unlock the patch, click on there. If this doesn't show up, if we just right click and then select inspector again, there are several things we can do. If we want to change the name of this to something a little bit more useful, we might change it to freak, REQ. So that gives us a better sort of name on our display. And the other thing that we can do, we can also change how its orientation. So if the orientation, it means at the moment it's a vertical slider, but if I change this to horizontal, it becomes a horizontal slider. So if I change that around there. So the main difference is how it's orientated. So the horizontal fader is oriented like that, and then if I change that back to a vertical one, and then you need to do a little bit of moving it around, and then lock that, we some output from there to there. So to connect this up to another object, remember at the bottom we have some data output, and then if I connect that to the cycle, what will happen is this will update the frequency with the number that I've selected from here. So if I lock the patch, we'll move this down to a lower frequency, and then I have some this cycle operator is controlling the frequency which is selected by this. So that is the live slider.